I've always known that winning my father's heart wasn't going to be an easy task, not because he's unkind or cold, but because he's someone who loves deeply and protects even more fiercely. He's a man of few words, a quiet observer, and someone who believes that real understanding comes not from what people say, but from what they consistently show. So when I fell in love with you, I knew the biggest hurdle wouldn't be winning you over, it would be letting him see what I see in you. For months, I carried this quiet anxiety in the background of our happiness. Every time I'd bring up your name in conversation, his expression wouldn't change. He'd just nod or shift the subject. No judgment, no enthusiasm, just silence. At first, I thought maybe he didn't want to talk about it, that he was trying to be neutral. But as time went on, I realized he was watching, waiting. Trying to understand why someone like you mattered so much to someone like me. I told you about him once. About how he raised me with strength, discipline, and integrity. How he taught me to keep my word, to be careful with trust, and to never rush love. So when I told him about you, he probably thought I was being impulsive. That I was just infatuated. But I wasn't. I was certain, and that certainty lived in the deepest parts of me. I just didn't know how to let him see it the way I felt it. Then came the quiet evening that changed everything. Dinner had just ended. It was just the two of us in the living room, and the hum of the ceiling fan filled the silence. I sat there, phone in hand, my heart racing. And then, almost without thinking, I said, "Can I show you something?" He looked at me, slightly curious but unreadable. I opened the photo album on my phone, our memories captured in still frames. You laughing with your eyes closed, sitting by the lake, dancing in the kitchen. I didn't say much, I didn't need to. The pictures spoke louder than my voice ever could. I handed him the phone. He scrolled slowly, deliberately, studying each image. His expression didn't shift at first. But then, I caught it, a faint curve in his lips. Barely there, but unmistakable. A smile. He stopped at one photo, one of you sitting on a bench, sunlight in your hair, that gentle calm in your eyes. He looked up at me and asked quietly, "That's her?" I nodded, trying not to let my emotions spill over. Then came the words that will stay with me for the rest of my life. "I like her for you." Just like that. No long speech. No cautious warnings. Just acceptance. Genuine, honest approval. And in that moment, everything inside me shifted. It wasn't just about him liking you, it was that he saw you. Not as a name or a story I'd told, but as a presence, a person who brought light and laughter into my life. He didn't need details about your job or your background. He needed to see the way you exist. The way you carry yourself, the light in your eyes, the stillness in your smile. That night, I replayed his words over and over. "I like her for you." It felt like someone had taken the weight I'd been carrying and lifted it off my chest. For the first time, I didn't feel like I had to defend my heart. It was understood, respected, and quietly celebrated. The next morning, something unusual happened. He asked about you. Not in a distant, polite way. He wanted to know more. What you did, what you loved, how your day usually went. I smiled as I answered each question, the hope inside me blooming like spring after a long winter. And it didn't stop there. Over the next few days, your name found its way into our conversations more and more. He mentioned you while talking to my mom. Then to my aunt. One day, she messaged me, "Your dad showed me her picture. She's beautiful. He's proud of you." That text made me pause for a long moment. I just stared at it, smiling to myself, heart full. My mom noticed the shift too. "He seems lighter these days," she said. "I think it's her. I think he sees her heart. Maybe he'd been afraid. Maybe losing someone had made him build invisible walls around his approval. But you, just through your smile and sincerity, started to gently break those walls down. Without even trying. He hadn't even met you yet. But he was preparing for you, in his own quiet way. Asking if you liked tea, if you preferred spicy food, if you'd be comfortable visiting us someday. These little questions were his way of making space for you, of letting you in. And then, the day arrived, the day you would finally meet. It was a calm Sunday afternoon. Nothing extravagant. Just a peaceful day with clear skies and a sense of something special in the air. You messaged me earlier that morning, telling me how nervous you were. And I told you what I truly felt: just be yourself. As your car pulled up and you stepped out, I felt time slow down. You wore something simple, something you loved, and that nervous smile lit up your face the moment we made eye contact. I walked over, reached for your hand, and together we walked toward the door. My dad was standing there, hands tucked into his sleeves, his old sweater draped over his shoulders, a sign that he cared enough to make an effort. He looked at you carefully, eyes scanning your face not in judgment but in curiosity. You stood still, hands clasped in front of you, your voice caught somewhere between your chest and throat. Then, without hesitation, he moved aside and said, "Come in." I was just about to make tea, and with those simple words, the ice melted. You sat at the dining table, and slowly, conversations began. You spoke about your parents, your work, your favorite books. He listened, not just out of politeness but with genuine interest. When you made a small joke about being a lazy cook, he actually laughed, a real, hearty laugh that I hadn't heard in years. Then, something even more unexpected happened. He brought out an old photo album. He showed you pictures of our family, even the embarrassing ones. You laughed so freely, so warmly, that even I forgot to feel embarrassed. When it was time to leave, he said something that melted my heart all over again. "Next time, come hungry. We'll cook together." On our way to your car, you took my hand and looked up at me. "Did he really like me?" you whispered. And I told you everything, every word, every moment. You leaned against my chest and stayed there, silent, safe, and warm. That night, as I lay in bed, I thought about how far we had come. From silence to smiles, from hesitation to hope. You weren't just someone I loved anymore. You were someone my family was beginning to embrace. Especially him. The one person whose quiet approval meant more than any loud cheer. Now, every time you visit, he asks how you are before I can even speak. He remembers the kind of tea you like. He watches you when you're not looking, watching the way you listen, the way you laugh. And every time he does, I see something in his eyes: peace. Not just because he sees that I'm happy, but because he sees who you are, and he knows that you're exactly what I needed. And so, in his own quiet, profound way, my father didn't just accept you. He welcomed you.